How's it going? Welcome to Chats with Spencer. You might recognize my guest this week from his videos where he travels around the world to markets to bargain. His videos are always full of fun, interactions, and show a different side of the cultures around the world. He is Collin from Collin, a broadcast. I had a ton of fun talking with Collin. He's honestly such a chill and down-to-earth guy. And then as it says in his YouTube description, he would probably be your friend if you knew him in real life. Make sure to follow Collin on social media and check out his channel, links in the description below. He has some great content, and if you haven't seen one of his videos, I guarantee once you watch one, you'll be watching all of them. So enjoy the interview with Collin. All right, Collin, thanks so much for being here. I'm super excited to talk to you today. How you doing?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Not too bad. We're going to try to talk a bit about before you got into YouTube. So I know you started the channel in 2012. But like before that, where did you grow up? What kind of kid were you? And like what were your interests?
So I grew up in Wisconsin of the United States. I grew up in multiple cities. I moved around a lot as a kid. I went to like 5 different elementary schools. Uh, Moved around a lot in high school, although I went to the same high school. So I think, that probably had an impact on me wanting to travel all the time. But yeah, I was a huge football player ever since like I was 4 years old. From 4 years old to 24 years old, I've played football, and that was literally my life. Football, and there was a time I was a big rollerblader too, but football probably dominates the kind of kid I was growing
Okay.
up. Yeah, so there's really nothing more other than that.
Do you have a particular football memory that like sticks out to you? So maybe a game you played really well, or like championship game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not on like a team sport. Like I do have memories on team sports. However, I
Hmm.
think my favorite memories were just playing backyard with your friends for
Okay.
like 5 to 8 hours a day. Like that's all we would ever do, And you just think of those times as a child growing up and kind of wish you could go back to those. But you got to grow up, I guess. Not to say I wouldn't go play some football right now. I absolutely would, but times were just different.
All right. I know you've mentioned in past interviews you're a big Packers fan. So
Yeah,
were you like following it throughout the whole season? And how you
absolutely.
feeling right now?
Yeah, caught every game this season. Maybe I missed one, but even if I had to stay up till like 4 in the morning, I was there watching. It's a big part of, you know, uh, it helps with like homesickness a lot too, as
Mhm.
well, on top of being a huge Packer fan. But yeah, the past game, man, had a lot of opportunities, but unfortunately they didn't win. So I thought this year was the year, but
Okay, so Colin, can you just talk maybe just about things you do on your days off and interests you have outside of making videos?
well, my biggest passion is making videos, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's kind of hard to take days off because I'm always, especially because my whole environment around me is, I'm here to make videos wherever I am.
Yes.
Currently, I'm in Europe right now, Albania, and so every day I'm just thinking of like new video ideas, whatever. But the moments I can get outside of just like chilling and relaxing without thinking about that, just hanging out with friends, going for walks, hitting the night out with some people, things like that. So that's basically what my life currently consists of. Just, I'm traveling with a friend now too. So, yeah, we just hang out a lot together and talk video ideas and, go out a lot and whatnot. So,
All right, Colin, is there a song from your childhood that just like really resonates and you have like a vivid memory of? So maybe it's just a song your parents played or a song you heard on the radio. But is there like that song for you that you're like, I
yeah.
don't know why I know it so well?
Yeah. So it's going to be Jay-Z, Can I Get Up?
Okay.
Because that was like one of the first songs my best friend and I at the time. Actually, we were still our best friends, but we ended up learning that together, and every time that song would come on we just like switch off verses. Like
Hmm.
I start out with Jay-Z, he would end on Ja Rule, like like and we'd go to Skateland, and whenever that
Hmm.
song came on at Skateland, because we were big rollerbladers at the time. I'm talking like we're like fifth, sixth grade, and like that song used to just jack us up every time it came on. So I'm gonna say Jay-Z, Can I Get Up? With a close second being Jay Z, Jermaine Dupri, Money Ain't a Thing.
All right. And just kind of a follow up, but do you remember the first album you ever bought or asked for or downloaded?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't. I'm gonna say maybe it's probably that Jay-Z. I used to steal CDs from my brother, so
Okay,
whatever he got kind of siphoned in through me.
All right. All right. So, just in terms of, like you said, you moved to China in 2015. What was the biggest culture shock? What was like the weirdest thing when you went over there? Like, holy shit, this is like really different.
The biggest culture shock, which isn't, I don't think it's necessarily like relevant to their culture, but the
Hmm.
biggest like shock to me was before going to China, I would tell people, "Hey, I'm going to move to China in like a few
Hmm.
months, whatever." And like the common like thing would be, "Oh, you're going to a communist country, or like you're not going to be as free there." But the thing is, as a foreigner living in like a different country,
Hmm.
especially a Chinese or a country like China,
Okay.
you tend to feel more free because you're exempt from society. So the local people don't see you as a part of their society in a
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
So you're kind of more free in that sense, is that you kind of get away with a lot more, I guess, minor things. For instance, if you were to like skip the line at like the
Hmm.
subway or something because you're running late. Not that I did that. I'm just saying I've seen people do that, and people don't really say anything. But
Hmm.
yeah, other than that, like an actual culture shock, um I'm gonna have to think about this one. I think the biggest culture shock is that people always want to take photos with you. Um,
Oh, okay.
Especially when you first get there, because a lot of people haven't really seen foreigners much, especially if you go into like the smaller cities and whatnot.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, other than that, like the culture shock, I got actually more of a reverse culture shock coming home than I had getting an actual culture shock going
Okay.
there, which is quite weird. But I think it's because when you go there,
Hmm.
you have no expectations at all.
Okay.
So if you have an open mind going there, it doesn't really shock you as much because
Hmm.
you're more, your mind's more free and open in that sense. But then when you come back, you have all these expectations, and then that's where I think it trips you up.
Okay, Colin, if you could take anybody to market with you and go like bargaining, who would that be?
It's gonna have to be Rick from Pawn Stars. just, just like, okay, I'm a fan of those pawn shows, right?
Mm,
But
okay, okay.
the common comment I get in my comments. So I would be doing it for the audience, because the common
Okay.
comment is always like, "Oh, imagine Collin on this show with bargaining against Rick or something." So I think that would be
Mm.
like a huge treat for everybody who watches the video. So definitely him.
That would be hilarious. Okay, so Colin, you seem like a super chill, like go with the flow kind of guy, but are there any things that like annoy you? They don't have to be super major, just like the small stuff.
Actually, what we were just talking about prior to
Hmm.
coming, or prior to this podcast, is that all of a sudden my computer was acting up, and like I had to restart it like
Yeah.
3 times.
Mm.
uh yeah, it's when a product that is created to do one certain job, I'm talking just straight technology, and it
Okay.
doesn't do that job, that annoys the hell out of me. Like, I don't get mad at people really, because I understand people have their own
Hmm.
intentions, whatever. I'm cool with that, whatever. But when it
Hmm.
comes to a thing that has one job and it doesn't do that job, that's something that irritates the hell out
That's fair.
of me.
Technology
So,
can be so,
yeah,
it's so nice to have technology, but at the same time, it
yeah,
complicates things so much. And when it goes wrong, it's your hands are tied, and it's just
yeah. And
like,
actually, I'm going to add on to that and go with bad website design. So bad UI. Like,
Mhm.
I shouldn't have to look, or I shouldn't have to click. Now you got me going. I shouldn't have to click 5 times to find an email to contact somebody on their website, which they probably
Mhm.
do on purpose so they don't, get an influx
Yes.
of all these emails and everything. So yeah, bad technology that doesn't do its job, and bad UI. And I say technology that doesn't do its job because I consider myself tech savvy. So um, if it just doesn't work, I don't know. I'm done ranting about that.
All good, Colin. All right, the next question is if you could travel back in time to any time period to visit, which time period would that be?
Before the pyramids, just because, or just some way far in the
Mhm.
back that's like not even recorded history yet.
Okay.
Just to see like how it was. Maybe there was like some sort of other civilizations that got demolished and we have no evidence of, or
Hmm. Hmm.
so, or maybe aliens or some shit. Like, I would just want to see how time was before time was recorded. So,
Okay. No, I definitely agree with you on the prehistoric thing because I
yeah,
ask this question a lot, and some people only go back like 10 to 20 years. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I want to see before humans. And like
right,
some people want to see, oh, how exactly were the pyramids made? Like that
right.
kind of stuff. Like that's the cool stuff for me.
Same here. I could talk about this stuff all day. Like,
And just on a similar note, if you could go back and witness any concert in history, what concert would that be?
probably like I'm gonna say like an Eminem concert back in like, in his, like, I'm not gonna say prime, but like, when he was first coming up, like on his
Hmm.
first or second album. I see some of his concerts and I was like, yeah, that would have been a cool concert to, you know, witness. However, at the time I was way too young to be listening
Hmm.
to that. So probably like an Eminem concert, to be honest. So,
All right, so we're going to switch pace, go to a bit quicker questions, but if you want to elaborate, feel free.
okay.
Are you more into cats or dogs?
Cats, because I've grown up with cats all my
Hmm.
life. However, I would love to own a dog as well. So I've had one dog my whole life, but I've
Hmm.
had like probably 10 cats my whole life. So
All right. Spring or fall?
spring. Oh, that's a really tough question, actually. Uh let's go spring. I'll go spring.
All right. M&M's or Skittles?
Skittles.
One of your favorite movies.
Fight Club.
If your next meal could be anything in the world, what would it be?
Tacos. From Taco Bell. Taco Bell tacos. I haven't had Taco Bell in years, it seems like.
All right, Colin. Besides a cat, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Wait, how did you know I wanted to be a cat?
I just listened to one of your interviews that you did before this.
I said that. That's right. A football player.
What's your go-to snack at a corner store? And I guess this is kind of hard because not all corner stores around the world are the same, but I'll let you
Yeah.
answer this.
Um, it's probably like a hot dog.
Favorite childhood TV show?
Let's say Rugrat. Or no, Doug. Doug on Doug on Nickelodeon, not the Doug on ABC.
Yeah, like
You
the
know what I'm
original
talking?
Doug before
The
he went to
original
like
Doug.
Disney kind of thing. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic theme song. Oh my god.
Yeah. Classic Doug.
What's your favorite interaction that you've had just doing your channel? I guess that doesn't necessarily have to be limited to your bargaining, but just like in general.
God, I can't think of like it specifically, but it was just like we were just going back and forth
Hmm.
and like we were getting heated with each other, but at the same time we knew it was like all a game. I don't know. It's just those interactions where you're both on the same page. And I know
Okay.
this happened multiple times.
Hmm.
You're both on the same page that it's both a game. So where
Yes.
you're both maybe looking like, oh no, man, no, man. But then at the end of the interaction, you're just like,
Hmm.
you got me, or I
Hmm.
got you, or yeah, let's have a good one. Yeah. But I'm gonna say if you want a specific one, it's gonna be that lady who yelled at me
Hmm.
in Beijing, China, because that was actually really hilarious. So
What's one place you're excited to go to?
well, next up I'm going to Morocco actually
Hmm.
tomorrow. So I'm excited to go there, but I'm thinking like I don't know, like I want to go back to India.
Hmm.
Like there's just something about like the chaoticness of India that I want to just really go back to. So I'm gonna say India.
All right. And if you had a song to describe your bargaining style, what song would that be?
It's tricky by Run DMC.
All right. Awesome, man. I like it. Now, what's the drive that makes you want to make videos? So I know like you're really into the whole video making process, editing, shooting, and whatnot. But like, what aspect of it really attracts you to it?
At its core, it's showing people because before I ever traveled, before I ever left the United
Mm-hmm.
States, like in my mind, I always thought like, other than money, which is another like aspect of it, I always thought like, man, I would think about going to China, right, and being like,
Okay.
man, that's going to be so difficult to travel, you know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to know the language. How
Mm-hmm.
am I going to get around? Blah, blah, blah. And like these were like massive worries that almost stopped me from making the move because I was like scared, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So at its core, once I was able to travel China and I realized how easy it actually is, um, the big motivator is to show other people that it's, especially with today's technology we have with
Mm-hmm.
like apps and stuff, you can go anywhere and pretty much travel anywhere issue free for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. And I think that's, other than, like I said, other than money, I think that's another big demotivator for people that want to travel. So my goal is just to show people how it really is when you go to these countries, especially when I interact with people on the streets. I think it shows people in a way that we're all relatable to one another
Mm-hmm.
as a human. You know what I'm saying? Like we all want the same core things. You know, we want to
Okay.
be happy, we want to be loved, we want people to love us, or we want to love other people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like there's not, other than culture, we're not really different as humans. Sure, I might have grown up in the United States and we do things this way, or you might
Mm-hmm.
have grown up in the Philippines and you do this or things this way.
Mm-hmm.
However, at the core of it, we're just all people wanting
Yeah.
the same thing. So that's like my
Mm-hmm.
main goal is to just show that the world is really not this scary place that the media makes it out to be. You know what I'm saying? So
I really like about your channel is just it's a travel channel, but like with a different kind of spin on it. You know how
mhm.
obviously there are a million channels about food, but yours is just showing another their culture through another lens, which I think is
Yeah,
great. And that interaction you have with the people is, I think, the greatest part of your videos. That connection and interaction.
I appreciate that.
What's the place you've been that you thought had the best vibe, just like personally speaking?
Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, I think. Yeah, I like that place a lot.
Just like the people, really
Yeah,
friendly, or just that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Everybody was super friendly there. I haven't encountered one person there that
Mm-hmm.
gave me any kind of like bad vibes or anything like that. So, um, yeah, and people were very accommodating too. Like everywhere you go, like, oh, come have some food
Mm-hmm.
at our food stand or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people loved showing how they make food and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna say Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City.
What's something you know now that you kind of wish your younger self knew?
How money works. Everything from taxes to how the Federal Reserve basically prints money and
Mm-hmm.
you know gives themselves loans and like money, like I don't know, like I've been on a big like ever since this whole lockdown, and
Mm-hmm.
I was locked down in Egypt for like almost 6 months.
Whoa.
I just went on this huge like
Mm-hmm.
learning about like how money actually works and like the history of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that everybody should know because once people realize it, like I don't know, it's crazy. um, but like that stuff, like growing up, that stuff we should know. We should know how money works, how to do your
Mm-hmm.
taxes, rather than the mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. Like that's like like one of those are relevant, one of those really aren't relevant to
Mm-hmm.
actually living your life. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, just like I think financial literacy, obviously what you're talking about is a little more, but just like the baseline, at least financial literacy, I think that would
absolutely,
help kids and become better adults, right? It's just
absolutely,
like you said, the stuff we learn, like who really cares about what date this random thing happened?
right.
So, okay, so Colin, is there one thing you'd like to achieve in your lifetime?
I think what I would, yeah, like space travel or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
um, just what I'm doing right now. It's always been like this huge dream of mine, just to be able to travel and show people how the world really is for what it is. Like, not trying to sugarcoat anything, not trying to, uh, try to hide the bad stuff.
Hmm.
Everywhere you go, there's good and there's bad. So I don't know. For now, that's all I'm really focused on. Um, I'm kind of like I kind of wing everything anyways. So
Mhm.
maybe in a few years I'll find like another purpose. But for now, just just showing people everything for how it is.
And do you have any words of wisdom you try to live by, or just like a saying that you enjoy?
Yeah. Just like F it. Like like
It's
I don't know if I could swear, but like F
all
it.
good.
Just do it. Like I don't know. Just if you feel like you should be doing something different, you owe it to yourself to at least try. There's that Jim Carrey quote where he's talking about his father was, I don't know, I forgot. He worked in a job he hated, but then he failed
Mhm.
that job anyways, like 30 or 40 years later. And then he was back to square one where he could have just pursued his dreams and then failed
Mhm.
it. Like, like you owe it to yourself to try what you want to do, you know?
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I totally respect your story, especially Colin. I know that you were training to be an EMT, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And you kind of like read an article about like, oh, you can move to China and teach English, and that
Yeah.
like was that spark. And a year later, you did it, and that safe thing would have been to be like, okay, I'm going to stay where I got my education in, but
Right.
you went where your heart wanted to go, and
Mm-hmm.
I really respect that because I don't think a lot of people will take that leap of faith and trust
Yeah.
that things will kind of like work themselves out in the end because like yeah, look at you now. I mean, had you not taken that, where would you be,
I
right?
don't know, right? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like, and the thing is, it's like I was young enough to take that chance too.
Hmm.
I mean, I understand people as they get older, they have kids and they have responsibilities. So having those safe, those safety nets makes sense for them.
Yes.
But if you have no kids or you're not committed to someone, you're not getting married to someone, you still have time to take that chance. I mean, no matter where you are in life, you still have time. All I'm saying
Yes.
is, you know, if you're in a situation I was in, it's a lot easier to do. And
Awesome. So, Colin, can you just let everyone know where we can find you on YouTube and just like social media in general?
yeah, YouTube, Collin a broadcast. I just started a website recently, www.goabroadcast.com, that's showcasing all these markets I go to. So if you're interested
Hmm.
in what's at these markets, how to get around these markets. It's all there. More of my general travel stuff is there too as well. And yeah, Instagram is also where you can find me, Colin a broadcast.
And any projects that you can let us know that are coming up?
Just getting back into this into filming.
Okay.
I'm going to Morocco tomorrow.
Hmm.
Actually took a break for like the past couple months because my last video kind of burned me out a little bit. I released like a 75-minute video.
Ooh.
It's like 5 times longer than anything I usually release.
Hmm.
So I'm glad I did it because it was such a rewarding challenge. But yeah, I'm just glad to get back out on the road and start filming again. So uh, hopefully 2021 will be generous to us travelers with like border restrictions and everything. So
Yeah, I imagine the last year was
yeah,
tricky for sure. Just especially like planning wise,
right.
you're just like, okay, well, see what
It's
happens then. It's 2021 now.
it's super stressful because like usually I don't make plans until like I'll pick like a country or two in my
Hmm.
head, and then like
Okay.
3 days before I want to leave, I'll like choose a country and then buy a ticket and go. Um, I obviously can't do that now. I have to actually
Hmm.
plan and everything. In my mind, everything has to go like step by step. Everything has to go like correctly. Whereas in the past, not. I can just forego all of that and just go. So I don't know. It's been a little bit more stressful not having to, or it's been a little more stressful having to plan where to go in advance.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Well, like you said, hopefully things get better sooner than later, and we can
yeah,
get back to some normalcy. Well,
yeah,
thanks again, Colin. I really had a ton of fun talking to you and learning a bit more about you.
awesome. I appreciate it, Spencer. Thank you for
Well,
having
well,
me.
yeah, no problem. My pleasure. So, everyone, just thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next video.
Awesome.